Right. Um, yeah, so hello everyone. Good evening and good morning and good day uh, in the every place that you are now. So today we'll be talking about the AJAX. My name is Ahmad Mardiansyah and then I'm from JLC Networks. The introduction, okay, the agenda, we'll be talking about some topics, several topics tonight. Started from how website works, and then HTML DOM. The DOM thing is the most asked questions that is asked by beginner. What is DOM? DOM, 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 DOM. Okay, we'll be talking about DOM. And then the JavaScript. Okay, so actually the webinar tonight is a webinar for a beginner. Okay, especially beginner for the AJAX. Okay, but we are not hoping you that you are beginner in all of them. No, it's not. But yeah, again, this webinar is used for introduction for AJAX, for JavaScript asynchronous. Okay, so these are the agenda. I will be talking about how website works. Actually, most of the topics are for refreshment, for making sure that you are in the right track before we're talking about AJAX. Okay, and then introduction. So we are GLC, Garda Lintas Cakrawala. We are based in Bandung. Our areas are training and IT consulting. We are certified partner for MikroTik, Ubiquiti, Linux. We also have our own products. GLC, one of them is GLC Radius Manager. It's a Radius front end and with the additional feature for billing. We also do regular event, just like we're doing now, the GLC webinar. About myself, my name is Achmad Mardiansyah, and I'm based in Bandung. I'm a Linux user, MikroTik user, Cisco user, Ubiquiti user, programming, PHP user, Python user. What else? I don't do Java. Uh, yeah, but that depends on the project. Perhaps we will do Java in the future. Yeah, what else? Yeah, I think that's all. I'm also doing training and then teaching. Yeah, guys, if you have LinkedIn, we can connect through that website. So that's my LinkedIn address. You can type it on the LinkedIn and then you should see my account soon. Okay, about past experience, mostly we are doing IT integrations, something that is related to IT networking. Okay, so we not only do the networking, you know, the IP address setting, set up the HCP, set up the PPPoE, PPTP, whatever, VPN, routing. No, we don't. Not only that, because the customer requires full solutions, right? Uh, so we also do provide things like integration, billing, and then anything that supports IT operation. About the webinar itself, we started since 2010 with various topics. If you are welcome, you're welcome. If you want to join the webinar, we can schedule a slot for you. So you don't have to worry. This is just a place for sharing information. And then about yourself, can you please introduce yourself here in the group chat? Okay. Okay, so please tell me yourself, your name, where you are from, you are from company or networking, and then, oh, sorry, I put here MikroTik, it's not neat. So at least I know where you are. Okay. Okay, I can see one people here from Philippines. Thank you very much. And then, of course, others are Indonesians. Others are usually there are people from Africa and from other other places as well. Okay. Thank you very much for your introduction. Okay. Oh, from Tembagapura. Right. Okay. It's must be very late there.
Pakistan
uh,
as well.
okay. So thank you for Nino Melbert Hugo. I don't know where you are from, but today's topic is not about the microtik. We are talking about programming things that is called AJAX. Okay. So hopefully you're not in the, I don't know. You're still in the correct path, or you just want to, because we're not talking about microtik here. We're talking about the programming, so it's completely different to microtik. Okay, so yeah, thank you very much for still staying here and listening what I'm talking about here about the slides. Okay, so prerequisite. So you guys, I assume you guys already know these topics. At least you know things like HTTP protocols, okay, and then HTML, CSS, and then client-side programming, or JavaScript, and then server-side programming, either PHP, Java, Python, and other stuff. Okay. Okay, let's continue. So again, this is not for beginner, okay? So this is not for beginner. Great. I have a question here. Absolutely how to build Linux server from scratch. This is session related to course. Well, no. Actually, the webinar here, the topic of the webinar here is I can say is not always follow a path. Okay. So one question, one participant here is asking, is it a continuation from the last webinar? Um, no, it's not. Yeah, you can still stay here if you want to get a new knowledge, but this is not a, yeah, well, I can say it's a continuation in some extent, yes. So in the last webinar we talked about the web server, right? Yeah. So on top of web server, you put your own application, either PHP or Python or whatever. Okay. And then one aspect of that application, if you build a web-based application, is AJAX. Okay. So usually when you develop a web applications, you need these skills. Okay. You need to know the how HTTP works, and then you need to know HTML and then CSS. This is very basic. Okay. Okay. So if you want to be a web developer, this is the first thing you need to know. Okay, HTML, CSS, and after that you need to know this client-side programming. Okay, and then server-side programming. Okay, so this is the prerequisite. So it's nothing to do with Apache, with Linux. No, it's not like that. So even though you don't know, you can still have your own applications. You just hire or rent a hosting and then put your code there, and then off you go. All right. So hopefully that answered the questions. Who is it? Ali Mohsen. Okay, so just review. This is how website works. We talk about the how web development, how the web application works. Okay, so this is you are typing something on a browser, and your browser send HTTP request to web server, and then the web server will respond. Okay, and then you are happy here. Okay, this is uh, very simple procedure for web applications for that perspective. Okay, if you are going deeper and deeper, perhaps it's not simple anymore because there are lots of processes. Okay, from the network perspective, this is how it looks like. Okay, so we have an Ethernet IP address. So we have a 7 OC layer. Okay, here 7, and then not all of them are involved when we talk about the web applications. So when we talk about applications, we talk about several protocols. For example, HTTP, TCP, IP, Ethernet, or Wi-Fi. Those are the protocols involved uh, in web applications. This is the traditional one. Okay, but for the future web development, I mean web application, usually they are based on the UDP. Okay, UDP port 443. Okay, so that is the new 443. Sorry, that is the new specification for HTTP. Okay, so previously HTTP is based on TCP, but in the future, in the new release, but actually it's already been done for several years, started from Google. Google start HTTP with UDP. They call it quick. Okay. Well, no, we don't talk about quick. We talk about the programming things. Another question. Is this course recorded? Yes. Will be uploaded in the YouTube? Yes. As soon as possible? No. Okay, HTTP is a hypertext transfer protocol. So basically you are sending a request, HTTP request, and then the server will be response your request with the content. And then when we talk about the web application protocol and components, this is how it looks like. Okay, so you have layer 3 here, L3, and then you have layer 4. Okay, L4, either UDP or TCP, as I said. And then on top of that, this is layer 7. Okay, this is layer 6. Okay, L6. Layer 6 is responsible for encryption, data formatting, and then language. This is layer 6. And then we have HTTP and DNS. So these two things are crucial. So if you run your own DNS, make sure it's always on. Otherwise, people are complaining they cannot access your website. Okay, so it's done from the server side. Now it's programming side here. Okay, so it's programming side. So you need to know HTML together with CSS. And then in addition, you need to know JavaScript in order to have additional features other than HTML and CSS. So if we just provide HTML and CSS, this is called static website. Okay, so with JavaScript, and then the website can have more dynamics. Okay, for example, you want to modify something, you want to have an animation. Okay, that can be done with the what is it, with the JavaScript. JavaScript is on client side, and then with the help of web APIs, and then we can add more features. Okay, like backend here, or AJAX. Yeah, so this is AJAX. Okay, so this is how AJAX plays here. Okay, so all of them is the web. Okay, the web application. Okay, so these are the web components. So if you want to be a software developer, I mean web developer, and then these are the things that you need to know. Oh, that's huge. Yeah. How can I say? Yeah. So yeah, again, this is just a review. So you type a URL here. This is not my a diagram. Actually, you can download it from here. So you are asking, you want to open www.example.com. First, it will resolve the DNS. check if the cache exists, is not, and then go for a DNS query. Okay, the query here, and then uh, uh, you get the IP address of the example.com. So IP address is important. Okay, so this is the IP address, and then you initiate the TCP connection again. This is for all protocols. Protocol HTTP1, HTTP2. Yeah, so they are still using the TCP protocol. But for the future, in HTTP version 3, it's not TCP anymore, it's UDP. Okay. So after you finish the three-way handshake, you do the HTTP request through the internet. Okay, and then this is how the request looks like. Depends on the method here. Okay, so one of HTTP method is get, then get space HTTP blah blah blah, and then HTTP version. Okay, it's received by a server, and then the server will do response, and then with the response itself, we can see one is for information, number two is for okay, number three, number four, number five. So this is the status of the response. And then your browser receive those codes and then begin parsing, okay? And then, yeah, the code will be parsed and then will be displayed back to you, okay? So you will see the content. Look, guys, if you have any questions, and then just type something on the group chat, okay? We also know that in one web document, okay, so this is one website, okay, so there are several elements, okay, so this is the elements, another element, so this is also elements, and then those elements are not coming from one web server, so they're coming from different web servers, so that if you open a website, and then most likely you will open several connections to different servers, okay. Okay, so again, this is just for review to make sure that your understanding of HTML is aligned with what I'm talking about. Okay, again, as I said in the previous one, we have a request and response, right? So we have a request and then response. So the response itself has several. I mean, the request itself. Sorry. So this is the request itself. Okay, this is how request looks like. Okay, has several methods. Okay, so get is one of them. Okay, others are like this. Okay, so this is HTTP method. Okay, and then here's the request. Request is like this. Okay, so you get and then path and then HTTP version. Okay, version of the protocol. Okay, so this is how request looks like, but for response here, this is how response looks like. Okay, so the HTTP protocol and then the status code here. Oh, okay, I forgot to put the status code here. So 1XX, 2XX, 3XX, 4 and 5. Okay, so sorry, I will update the slides later. Okay. And then this is the status message, and then here's the message. Okay, start with the headers, and then here's the content. Okay, is there anything else other than get? Yes, we can use get, we can use post, we can use put, patch, delete, and these are the functions or propose. Okay, so get is for get information. Post is for sending the data. For example, if you want to send a data. For example, if you want to do login information must be sent through post. Okay. And then if you want to have, so after you log in, you want to modify some data. For that one, you can use put. Others, you can use update or modify. So usually, this is after login. After login. Okay. So next is DOM. DOM is a term that makes many people confused. Okay. All right. Correct. Okay. So can you share your experience with DOM? Okay. Right. DOM is document object model. What is it? What kind of animal is it? Is the DOM? Well, DOM is document object model. Yes, I know, of course. Yes. So it's defined by W3C. W3C is World Wide Web Consortium. So they are the organization that defines the DOM. Okay. So they are, for example, in networking we have IANA. Okay, IANA, and then IANA will delegate to RIR, right? Some of RIR are IPNIC, and then ARIN, RIPE, NCC, LACNIC, AFRINIC. Okay, so yeah, IANA is responsible for assigning IP address. But for HTML, it's defined by W3C. Okay, so W3C is the body that says, okay, so the tag here is HTML, a new tag is this, this, and that. So DOM is a programming API for HTML and XML. Okay, it's a logical structure of documents. So DOM is defining the structure. Okay, and then with DOM, programmer can create, build documents, navigate the structure to add, modify, and delete elements. Okay. So in other words, DOM is the whole HTML element. So whole is the DOM. Okay. And then with DOM, we have DOM. DOM is like a specifications. Okay, specification of a files of HTML documents. Okay, with DOM, it's always written in the structure like this. Okay, so table we have rows, we have another row, and then in every row we have TD. Okay, table delimiter. All right. Okay, so yeah, this is how the DOM looks like. Okay, so another example is this. So which one is DOM? All of them. Okay. So which one is DOM? All of them. This is DOM. Okay. So DOM defines document structure. Okay. And then CSS will change the formatting, not the content. Okay. So for example, this is the DOM. Okay. So DOM started from HTML and HTML. This is DOM. Okay. You start with open tag and then close tag. Here's the close tag, right? So inside HTML, we have header. We have two elements, header and body. Inside head, we have styles. Inside body, we have H2, P, P, A, IMG, and then P. Okay, so header will be appear in a tab. Usually there is a browser tab here, right? Yeah, when you open a browser, there is a tab. So header usually is for the tab here. If you, okay, I forgot to put the title, and then here's the title. If you put the title on a header, it will be open in the tab. Okay, and then body, here's the body. Body is inside the, is the things that you display, is the things that you see in your browser. Okay, so start with H2. H2 will be like this. As the P is this one. Okay, so why is it red? Because I will tell you later. Okay, so let's identify the DOM elements. So elements means is it's a DOM elements is the definition of DOM elements is object that is start with tag and then close with tag. Okay, So open with tag and then close with tag. So this is one element. Okay. And then body, is body an element? Yes, it's a body is element. So the way DOM works is a big HTML is a big element wrapping another element. So there is a big element here called body. So start with body, close with body. Okay, and then inside the body we have smaller element and then another smaller element like this. Okay, and then smaller element like this. Okay, and then so on and so forth. And that is how HTML renders or browser renders your web page. Okay, so by rendering the elements. Okay, so this is how DOM looks like. Okay, so that is element. So element start with tag and tags. Okay, so tag like this is a definition for opening an element, and then will be followed by closing tag with a slash here in the front. Okay, so that is the close tag. And then inside, so we already know that. Okay, so this is tag. Okay, this is tag, open tag, close tag. So inside the opening tag, usually in opening tag, we can put something here called attributes. So this is attributes. And then attributes has value. Here's the attribute value. And then it's called content here. Okay. So is there any attributes? Yes. This is attribute ID, attribute href, attribute source, attribute width. Okay. Attribute class. Okay. So those are attributes. What about class and ID and CSS? Okay. So ID. So start with class. Okay. Class is an attribute named class. What happened with the class is for identifiers, so to distinguish between this element and then that element. Okay, why we need class or ID? Because many HTML elements are similar. As you have P here, you have another P, you have another P. So we have 3 P elements in our website. Okay, we want to distinguish them. How do you differentiate between this P and then that P? So that's why we put here a class. So class usually is for grouping. Okay, so only one P element here that has a class. ID is different. Okay, so you put here ID. Okay, part 2. This is class 2. Okay, so this is how that is how you define the ID or class. Okay, so you put an attribute, name, ID, or class, and then you define what is the name of the ID, what is the name of the class. So in this case, we have class 2 and then ID part 2. So we go to for the CSS here. CSS is only for formatting. Okay, formatting means like, bold or italics. Okay, italics here or underline. Yeah. It's big or not, the color, and then the alignment, is it left or or right here or center. Okay, so those are formatting. Okay, so formatting things, right? So the way we define is we define based on the ID with the hash assigned here. Okay, so this is for this ID. Okay, so you have an ID here, and then this ID will be put here. So as you can see, ID part 2 will have black background color light blue. So this one. Okay, so why this is light blue? Because we put the style here, light blue, and then it's only applied on an element that has part 2 ID. So this is part 2, This is part 2. Only this element will have a background color of light blue. Another example is class. Okay, color orange. So this is the class 2. So this CSS will modify, will define the formatting of this paragraph. Okay, so that's how that's the relationship between HTML and CSS. Okay, I have a question here. What is the first thing to build website? Is it architecture or UI UX? What does it mean, architecture? Well, if you want to build a website, and then of course, usually we have a sketch. Usually we are doing a sketching of our website. So you talk to the developer, okay, this is my website, okay. You have a header here, you have a footer here, okay, and then you have a menu over here, okay, menu, sorry, menu, okay, and menu, and then here's the content over here, okay. Yeah, so again, so hopefully that answered the questions. With Fajar Siddiq, okay. Yeah, so this is what we usually do when we want to build a website. So we want to make sure how the website looks like. Okay, is it UI or UX? Well, similar. Architecture, I'm not sure what you're talking about. What you mean by the architecture of website? What does it mean? Okay. So again, website, usually from website we started from the back. Okay, so we start from the what customer wants to see. Okay. In Figma can generate FE based on the prototype design. Yes. Okay. Can you advise how to choose backend framework? Yeah, for front end, actually there are lots of tools. So many years ago I used Macromedia. At that time, still named Macromedia. Macromedia Dreamweaver. Okay. So it's very easy. You don't have to type code. But you have to be able to troubleshoot the code, okay? So you just tell them, okay, so I want to make a header like this, and then this will be the navigation. This will be the menu, and then so on and so forth. So most likely they are useful for front end. What about backend? Yeah, so it's up to you. With CMS, I mean, which backend language programming you are familiar? Yeah, because depends. Most in Indonesia, the most likely, the most favorite, I think, yeah, the language that many people use for backend is PHP. Other alternative is Python or Java. For Python, people can use framework like Django or Flask. For Java, people use Spring. Okay. No CMS, yes. Yeah, CMS is just it's a all-in-one. They already put everything there. So if you want to modify, you need to know how the CMS works. Okay, next. I mean, the first thing to make a prototype, I'm not sure. Well, yeah. Usually, people do with the front end first. So they want to know how the customer will see their finished products. Okay, even though they cannot click here and there, because if they want to click, you have to do a programming on that button. Okay, so but the thing is, you just promise to your client that okay, so there will be a button. If you click the button, and then this will happen. Okay, but in order to make it happen, you have to do programming. Okay, so that's why front end only is not enough. Okay, you cannot You cannot make many things about that. You cannot make Google with just front end. No. If it is just read only, that's fine. If you want to have a dynamic website like Gojek or what else? Tokopedia, Blibli, Amazon, uh, yeah, whatever. Yeah, if you want to have a dynamic website, front end is not enough. Okay. So design it first. Yes, design it first. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So when I learned programming for the first, I mean web programming for the first time, I learned programming in 1990s. Uh, but learning the web programming in 2000 something, 2003, I think. Yeah. Yeah. At the time it was HTML4, PHP 3, MySQL 3 or 4. Yeah, very long time ago. Yeah. So at that time, there is no things like a front end, back end. What people know is just programming. Okay, so you need to know about HTML, CSS, and then PHP, and then MySQL, many things. Now, because I think because there are so many technologies, so that's why people wants to make a specializations. Either you want to be a front-end engineer, which is dealing with the HTML, CSS, okay, and then make something that makes people wow, okay, that's in the front end. Or you want to be a backend engineer, so you receive a request and then you checking the database and so on and so forth. Okay, so the front end will query the backend. Okay. Right, yeah. So, yeah, okay. So hopefully that answered the questions. Okay. So, yeah, for those who are dealing with all of them, it's called a full stack developer. Okay. So you have a front end. Okay. You have a back end, and then you have full stack. Yeah. Full stack engineer. Full stack engineer. Okay, so you're dealing with the front end, back end, and then yeah, both of them. Yeah. So that's what we do when we learn the programming. Okay, so we also learn the HTML and then CSS and then PHP and then many things. Okay, so next is the JavaScript. So JavaScript is a programming language. So this is where the JavaScript is. Okay, we're talking about AJAX, right? Okay. Okay, just review this one. Okay, just want to make sure that um, you already have a good understanding of JavaScript. So JavaScript is programming language. So HTML and then CSS are not programming language. Okay, so again, please understand that HTML and CSS are not programming language. You cannot do 5 plus 7 equals to 12, for example. No, you cannot do a calculation. You cannot do um, manipulation. You cannot do uh, 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 conditionals like if then else. You cannot do with the HTML. So HTML is used for displaying content. Okay. So again, HTML is used for displaying content. That's it. Okay. So again, back to JavaScript. JavaScript is a client-side processing. In this case, with a web-based application, we have two parts, right? We have a web server and then web client. So web clients, we usually use browser. So JavaScript is responsible for dynamic aspects of HTML documents. Okay. So for example, displaying updates, interactive maps, animated 2D or 3D graphics, DOM manipulations. Okay. This JavaScript can change the HTML or CSS tag. Yes, yes, it's possible. A bit of history. Original JavaScript is called ES1, ES2, ES3 from 97 1999, and then first main revision ES5 in 2009. I think it was together with the HTML5. And then the second revision is the thing that we are doing now is 2015 ES6. And then yearly additions like 2016, 17, 18. Okay. What about TypeScript? TypeScript is a little bit different. Yeah, this is for the this is a JavaScript. Okay, JavaScript is a language for web application. So as you can see, when we talk about the JavaScript, I mean web application. So this is web application. These are the components. Okay, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and then you have API. That's it. Okay. So where's the PHP? PHP is used for generating HTML or generating CSS. Okay, so if you have a request will be received by PHP. PHP will then generate the HTML, CSS, and together it will do the response. Okay, so hopefully that answers the questions. Okay, so yeah, TypeScript is yeah, it's a script also. It's a part of JavaScript. So I think yeah, it's still a family of JavaScript. Okay, so maybe if I can see, because JavaScript is a big language. Okay, so JS, okay, JavaScript, and then one of them is TypeScript. Okay. Or maybe the other way around. Oh yeah, I think it's the way around. Yeah, so TypeScript is bigger. It's a kind of script, and then one of the type of the TypeScript is JavaScript. But anyway, we are not focusing on the JavaScript versus TypeScript here. Yeah, that TypeScript is the OP of JavaScript. Yeah, okay, yeah, we can talk about later. Yeah, so the thing is, the main benefit of JavaScript is this. Okay, so a very good benefit of JavaScript is you can display update on a page without hitting the refresh button. Okay, you can do animation. You can do interactive maps. Okay, and DOM manipulation. So that is very good advantage for JavaScript. Okay, so this is for example DOM manipulation with JavaScript. First, you are using JavaScript, and then you want to modify the DOM element. Okay, so the first step is you need to find the element first. How? By finding elements by ID, by tag, by class name, by CSS selector, or by object collections. Okay, so this is, for example, this is P with the ID par1. This is P with ID par2. Okay, so I have two buttons here. So this is the first button. I think we can do this later. Okay. Okay. So if I click this one, so if I click this make red button, it will do. So this is button. Okay. So on click, this is the event, this is the attribute. Okay, so when I do on click, so I will execute this JavaScript command. So document get element by ID. Okay, so I will find. Please find. So that's the meaning of this command. Okay, so please find an element with the ID of par1. So this one, right? So here, this will access, I will find that one. And then dot here is the method. Style, okay. Style, this one. And then color here. Color means this. Okay. Color equals to red. So when I click, and then this will be red. Okay. So again, so I will change the attributes. Okay, without doing the refresh button. Okay, so I just click this button. So I don't have to use F5. F5 is for refresh, right? In Windows. In Mac, there is no F5. Just Command R. And then here, same par1. Okay, I will change the style and then color. Style is the attributes, color is the properties, and then the value is green. Okay, so change this one here. And then this element will change the par1 into green. Okay. So that's the DOM manipulation with JavaScript. Okay. Next about AJAX. So AJAX is asynchronous JavaScript and XML. Okay, so asynchronous JavaScript. So as you can see, JavaScript is actually asynchronous, right? It's already asynchronous. Okay, it's a big advantage of JavaScript. Asynchronous mode, yes. So we don't have to mention here. So just JavaScript, okay. And XML, but actually this one is not XML is we don't it's not part of AJAX because XML in the beginning is used for data transfer. It's a format for data transfer, but now people can send usually with plain text, or usually people use JSON, JavaScript object notation. AJAX is not programming language. Okay, so AJAX is actually the JavaScript. Yes, JavaScript. So actually AJAX is a technique to use a browser built in. So again, in your browser, it supports JavaScript. And then in the JavaScript, there is a method called XML HTTP request object here. So it means that it's used to request data from a server. And then JavaScript and then HTML DOM.
Jack.
Sorry, I have to mute your microphone. Okay, so again, yeah, AJAX is just technique to use HTML requests and then JavaScript. That's it. That's it. Nothing fancy. Okay, nothing new. Okay. So in the beginning, AJAX used XML for transfer, but now many people are using plain text or JSON. The main benefits, yeah, so allows web page updated asynchronously, so we don't have to refresh, we don't have to load the whole element. Yeah, start from beginning until the end. Only a certain area of that website is just updated using the AJAX. See, so we can update a part of web page, okay, without reloading the whole page. This is very good. Okay, this is why the Facebook is fast. This is why the Gojek is fast, Tokopedia is fast, because they are using AJAX. We are not always reloading the whole documents, only some part of it. Okay, so they are using AJAX a lot. So how AJAX works. Okay, so this is how it looks like. So this is your browser. When an event occurs, for example, you click a button, you hover a mouse, or things like that, or if something is changed. Okay, so your browser will create HTTP request, XML HTTP request object to a server. Okay, so send HTTP request, and then the server process, and then create the response, and then reply here. Uh, so the one that is processing the response. Okay, so this is the request, and then this is the response. Okay, so the one that is handling the request is the response. Request and response is the JavaScript, and then JavaScript will update the page content. This is from w3schools.com. So I think all of you must be familiar with this website. It's very, very popular website for web programming. This is an example. Okay, I get it from W3 Schools. Okay, so you have SML here. I'm sorry, you have a content HTML element. Okay, start with div, end with div, and then with the ID demo. Okay, and then you start your JavaScript from here to here. Okay, and then here's the function. You set up a function called load doc. So you put the button. So here's the button. Okay. So when on click, so here's the button here, right? So when you click something, it will execute a JavaScript function of load doc. What is load doc? This one. Okay, and then we execute the documents. So the load doc is for HTTP. So we create a new XML HTTP request. Okay, so it's a class, right? It's a class. Okay, so if you instantiate a class, and then this will become an object. Okay, it's a variable. So we have many types of variables that can be that variables can have different data types. Okay. Yeah, like a traditional data type like integer, string, float, okay, date, a boolean, true, false, or for example, the data type of this variable HTTP is object. Okay, so this HTTP object has method inside. Okay, yeah, here's the method. So that's the method inside the object that is created in the previous line. So so you execute the method here. Yeah, I mean the sorry, not the method, the properties. Okay, again, in order to understand this, you need to know OOP. Okay, object-oriented programming. Okay, so if you're still confused, the object-oriented programming is I have a webinar for that one. You can check out in the website. Okay. Yeah, in order to understand this code, you need to understand the OOP. Okay. So we have a property here. Okay, let me clear that one. So this is a property. Okay. So property is like a variables. And this variable will be filled with this a function. Okay. So you did a function if this ready state equals to 4, and then the status is 200. Okay, and then if it is works, this is the function for if they receive the response. Okay, and then it will execute this command, get element by ID, and then inner HTML equals to response text. See, where do they get the response text? Is from the response from the server. Okay, so get element by ID demo, meaning it will modify this one. Demo is start from this div until this div. So the whole div here will be replaced. Okay. So this one is done. And then we go for the next step. HTTP open and then get. Okay. So this is we create the header for get request. And then here's the path. Okay. And then open is true. Okay. And then after that, we do the send. After that, we receive the response. And then after we receive the response, we will update this one, the div. Okay, we'll do the demo later. Just want to finish this one as soon as possible. So as I say, this is a class, right? Inside the class, you must have either method or properties, right? Method in functional programming is called function or function, right? And then properties all is known as variables. Okay, so those are the things that inside a class. Okay, so for example, we have a ready state. This is for variables. We have status. We have a response text, open, send. So those are the function or variables of this HTML HTTP request. Okay, so here they are. So as I said, for example, send, and then send string, and then here's open, get response header, get request header, abort, and then so on and so forth. Okay, so these are the method. Okay, new HTML HTTP request. You know, as we seen before here, right? Here, new HTML request. Okay, so those are for objects. Creating a new object for JavaScript. And then on the property, so this is the property, then this is the method, right? So we have on ready state change and then ready state. So I put here number 4, right? Number 4 is request finish and response is ready. Okay, so that's the explanation where the numbers come from. Okay, like this one, right? Here, number 4. Why ready state is 4? What's that mean? And then also what's the status? Okay, so that's the explanation. Okay, so status is okay, 200 is okay. See, 403, 404, and so on and so forth. For complete list, we can check here, no problem. And then here's the status text, response text, response XML. Okay, so yeah, that's the example. Perhaps I can continue. Yeah, between. Okay, so with this AJAX, okay, I think started from the popular use of AJAX. So this will split the web programming into 2 parts, and front end, back end. Okay, so front end is focusing on front end, the things that make people see what it can do. And backend is for backend, the things that stores the data that will feed the front end. So usually this is what it do. This is a browser. Oops. So this is browser. So this is your browser. Your browser connect to front end server. Okay, you have front end server here, and then you have backend server. Okay, and then the backend server, you have a database. Okay, and so on and so forth. You have another backend server. Okay, accessed by the front end. For example, in the front end, you have a Google Maps, so that your code here will access the server. It is possible that the browser can also access the front end directly. Yeah, that depends on the how you code your front end. Yeah, or sometimes the front end itself is the one that is accessing the or sending requests to the backend. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Anything else? No. I think time is up. Perhaps I can do a live practice, so I can share my whole screen here. I can use live practice. Okay. And then here I will use VI. Oh, you guys, if you want to connect, perhaps I can share how to log in. Live practice. Okay. So here it is. So guys, that's how if you want to log in. So I'm already logged in. So that's my my page. Okay, so perhaps, yeah, this is a HTML element. For this one, okay, I will create a Vim test html.html. Okay, so I will add the code. You can try it as well. You can create your own. So I will do refresh, and then I will see the test HTML, and this is how it looks like. Okay. So if you check the page source, okay. Yeah, we can change something here, right? So if you want to modify, okay, modify the paragraph, for example, paragraph 333, and then nothing happened because the style here is only applied on element that has ID part 2. So if I change part 3 here, and then nothing will happen. So if I change back to part 2, and then the background color will be changed. Okay. See? Or we can change something here into azure, black, blue, violet, brown. Yeah, nowadays is very very handy. I imagine the coding HTML in 2000. Oh, it's like a nightmare. So you have to upload and then refresh, upload and refresh. Now it's very easy. There is no inspect element at the time. Okay, so that was the HTML, and then next is the, for example, yeah, DOM manipulation. Here it is. Vim DOM mani DOM manipulation dot HTML. Okay, so here it is. I copy and paste the documents. Okay, let's check. Here DOM manipulation. So in the beginning, this is the code. Okay, do the inspect element. And here's the body. Okay, so first button, the second button, and then here's the element that will be manipulated by if you click the button here. So if you click the button and then it's become red, if you click green and then it will become green, red, and green. So as you can see, the color here is also changed, right? Red, red, and green, as well as the displayed here on the page. Okay, so red and green, yeah, so this is DOM manipulation. And then, yeah, what else? The test AJAX. Okay, Vim test AJAX. Okay, so this one, I need to get the file from the local files. AJAX test.html. Yeah, AJAX. Yeah, AJAX test. Oh, sorry. What's the name here? Oh, or say this is usually from backend, or perhaps we can use from backend. Okay. So it means that we need to update from backend.html. So here, oh, I haven't set up the. Oh, okay. You can use like this. Okay, so this is text from backend. All right, so we have 4 files. So when we click from backend, it's just display like this. Okay. So this is from backend, and this is the test AJAX. Okay. So we do the inspect element. Okay, here's the script, and then here's the network. Okay, so when I click this, this will be changed. Okay, so what happened in the backend, in the background? So as you can see, there is a request. Okay, so there is a request to backend. Yeah, initiator by text AJAX number lines number 23 on click lines number 9. Okay, so it's accessing the from backend. Okay, so yeah, that's the example. Media, docs, others, all of them here. Memory, nothing here. Okay, so again, as you can see, when we do test again, so this is how it looks like. Okay, here's the body, here's the demo. Okay, so demo, how is it called? How is it called? Demo object. Okay, demo object. All right. So when I click, I will ask, please get from backend HTML. Okay, and then I will replace this object with something that is coming from the backend. And nothing happened here. See, nothing happened. Okay, let me clear all of them. So when I click, okay, there is something. So somebody or not somebody, something, or the browser is asking something from this website. Okay, from live practice from backend. All right, so I think that's all. Guys, thank you very much for still having here. If you have any questions, and then please don't be afraid to type something in the group chat. Okay, so
Yeah, it's more than like 1 hour. more,
yeah, it's
more
more
than
than
1
1
hour,
hour.
I think.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah,
Extra,
so
free for all.
yeah, it's okay. So again, thank you very much. Uh, Here we close the webinar. If you are interested, just come to our training. You can check in the schedule. The end of slide will be uploaded into SlideShare. The recording will be uploaded on YouTube. Okay, not soon. And yeah, if you don't mind, yeah, please submit your feedback and to make us better. Okay, thank you very much once again. Anything else
Yeah,
from
and
admin?
yeah, last request. Maybe can you stop sharing and then we can
Oh
take
yeah.
documentation together
Oh yeah, sure, sure.
as an archive.
Oh yeah.
And guys, don't
Okay,
forget put your feedback, please.
right.
Okay, maybe take picture first.
Yeah, we'll take a picture. Please turn on your camera. Hello.
Don't be shy, please.
Don't be shy. Yeah.
Halo Mas Ahmad.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Okay, let me take a picture. I will count from 1 to 3. 1, 2, 3.
The thumbs up.
Okay. Oh yeah, thumbs up, thumbs up. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, second page. 1, 2, 3, and then we are done. Okay, guys. Again, thank you very much. Really appreciate your coming here. Hopefully, at least you have an idea about how AJAX works. Okay, because I'm teaching in a university, and then every time I'm talking about the web programming, people always first, okay, confused about what is DOM, and DOM. Hopefully, with after this presentation, you will get a more better understanding about DOM, okay, and also about JavaScript and the AJAX. Okay. In the future, perhaps we can do some backend programming to make AJAX understandings much better. All right. Again, thank you very much for the webinar. We'll see
Yeah.
you next week. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Anything
been
else,
a
Admin?
great time sharing together. And by the end of the day, whether you decide to join training with us or choose another training platform, is it okay? The most important is never stop learning. Keep your spirit of learning all the time, right?
Right.
So
Okay.
yeah, don't forget to put your feedback and then see our future event on our website and join our social media as well and join our Telegram community and groups. So maybe see you next Thursday with
Topic.
another webinar topic.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bye
Okay, guys. Thank
bye.
you. Bye.
Good evening.